Welcome to Level Check Roblox. This is your in-game review for parents for UPD +1 Speed, Keyboard, Escape, Candy and Chocolate. Wow, that title's a mouthful, isn't it? But we want to know one thing. Is this game suitable for your child? Remember, nobody knows your child better than you do, so it's my job to play these games so you don't have to, and then give you the facts so that you can make an informed decision about if the game is suitable. You can use the timestamps in the description to find exactly what you need, or you can watch the whole thing. But if you wouldn't mind liking the video just so that other parents can find this sort of content, we'll now jump straight into the review. So starting off on the game page, this is right up there, number 2 when I looked at this on the trending charts. It's got an immense amount of players, over 200,000 active players, a really high successful like rate with very minimal tags for occasional or mild violence. So we'll dive more into that when we look at the game. But it is massively popular, so let's see what it's all about. There aren't any trailers or there aren't really any screenshots. It says here it's an admin abuse event, but I'm generally not too worried about that. That just means you can do things that are a bit more fun in the game rather than it being focused on the abuse element. There's some details there about what it is. It's a simulation game, which normally means some sort of incremental progression, and we're going to be looking at the version dated 22nd of the 6th 2026. So let's just dive straight in. I don't really see many problems thus far. So when you load into this game, there isn't a kind of lobby or any need to go into private servers with people. There is a starting area, but it does have a localized chat function, either through typed or through voice chat. So just make sure that you're happy with your parental settings on your child's account to govern who they can speak to and how they interact with the world. This game is really simple though. Every step you take gives you +1 speed. The more you progress through the game, the more multipliers you get, and that gives you a greater speed. You need your speed to progress through these obstacle course style levels that have different challenges, and they do get harder as you progress through the game. The thing is, though, every level has a required level before you can even really attempt it, otherwise, you are guaranteed to fail. This to me acted a bit like a paywall because you're forced to either stand on a treadmill like this until you get to the required level, or you have to use the box to my right, the yellow one with wins, which gives you essentially like arcade tickets that you can use to buy the different upgrades. In any case, if you fail a level or you use the restart button to take the tickets, you end up back where you started in the starting area and you have to repeat the whole process over again. So having played this now for a couple of hours, what I can tell you is that the game has been designed to be a bit like a dopamine repetitive loop where you keep progressing through the same levels to get further and further, minimal each time until you start buying some multiplier upgrades. For a while, the game did start to feel addictive, then it became very repetitive, it then started to feel a bit frustrating, and then it led to a bit of boredom. So I can see quite easily for a child how frustration could set in quite quickly. Alternatively, they could just be purchasing lots of the different level skips, which kind of feel a little bit pointless as they are single use and then essentially null and void after you've used it. So now we've looked at the game, let's look at the level check risk rating so you know exactly what you're dealing with. Starting off with violence. Remember, 0 stars is minimal, 5 stars is the maximum, and violence I'm kicking off with a 0 stars. I honestly didn't see anything in here at all of a violent nature, and so this is a real easy one for me to deal with. So moving on to psychological and emotional then, there isn't really anything honestly that's going to cause tension, certainly nothing that I would see causing nightmares even for a 5-year-old. About the most threat that I encountered was when a character was walking towards me as part of a level, and if they touch you then you simply respawn and go back to the start again. We covered it earlier, but the only thing that maybe is worthwhile is the level of frustration can raise quite quickly if the child keeps failing the same level, and that would then push them either to buy something using Robux or quit the game completely. So the final thing I like to look at is the financial element, and that is considering whether the developers are creating a game that misleads children into spending their Robux, hides things behind a paywall or a pay-to-win system, or if everything is above board and non-aggressive. Now remember, my reviews are always impartial, and I have got to say that this game is absolutely littered from head to toe with things that your child can buy, and most of them are useless after a single use and don't really have any major impact in the game. Starting off with the user interface, there are buttons absolutely everywhere, one of which says free gift. It is extremely misleading because when you click it, it actually isn't a free gift at all, and what you have to do is go out of the game to like it and then join their external community just to get this in-game boost that they're offering. The other purchase that's a common one is this teleport to a certain stage, providing that you have either the Robux to pay for it, but you can also use your wins that you get from completing the levels. There's a lot of stuff actually around the game environment, like standing on these treadmills, where actually you think that those are players running on the treadmill. They're not, they're non player characters that have been put there deliberately. And then once you walk over them, you then get a prompt asking you to pay Robux to use that treadmill. Now, there was a little sneaky one which developed once I'd failed a level a few times. There was a pop-up in the middle center of the screen giving me the option to return to where I just failed from for either a cost of Robux or, and this is the interesting one, you could watch a video advert to return back there. So I fired this up to see that firstly the video was appropriate, which it was, but I did find that I was sat for a good 15, 20 odd seconds before I could skip that advert, and then when it had put me back there and I failed the level again, that was a complete waste of time and I was back where I started anyway. So look, being honest, the game is quite fun to play and it is absolutely harmless for most kids. Part of the fun is exploring the interface and seeing what there is, but this really does feel like a bit of a cash grab from the developers. I think the thing that gets me the most though is that when you've worked hard and you get to the end of a level and you haven't got the requirements for the next section, even a skip stage isn't going to help you. And ultimately, the next level is completely unwinnable unless you have met those requirements. Ultimately, that felt like a bit of a paywall to me and something that put me off the game. So ultimately, is it available and suitable for all age groups from 5 up? Yes, it is. Yes, it does come with that caveat that there are adverts and things to buy absolutely everywhere, but it is essentially harmless. All of my video reviews are completely independent. They are not endorsed by Roblox or the game developers, so you know what you're getting is a true unbiased opinion from me as a parent. I hope this video has been useful to you today. If it has, please do hit the like button to help other parents find this kind of content. And if this is useful to you, then consider subscribing to Level Check Roblox, where I produce game reviews like this from the parent's perspective all the time.